tô trajadão, já tô trajadão, já tô trajadão,
Welcome to the Upshot, Ulti-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the host and the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield. It's Wednesday, August 19th. We are 1 week away from the 2026 PDGA Pro World Championships in Michigan. Back in Michigan for the first time in almost 20 years for Worlds. Josh, the hype is real. We got the week off. Everybody's just getting ready for Worlds.
It's here. It's the big one. It's the one. And you know what else is coming, Charlie? I know we're going to talk about it. Daily reacts. Worlds reacts are the best time of the, all major reacts are fun. This is like something else though. I cannot wait. The culture around Worlds is, I think, just as important as the individual event itself, right? People, there's always that kind of oh, should Worlds mean so much? Should we have this World Championship decided by one tournament? But the way that we've developed around it's our only 5-round event now, the legacy that it has and the way that it develops and how we engage with it makes it something that I think is just really, really special. And you would lose if you didn't treat it the way that we do. So I'm really excited. It's going to be hype.
Look, every sport has its most important things.
Yes.
It just does.
Yeah.
And so this is ours. And you can quibble with the title of the tournament.
Sure.
Should there be a World Championships that happens every year and 98% of the time in the United States? I get your point, right? You're nitpicking, but who cares? Throw it out the window. This is the one that matters the most.
Yep.
It means the most to the players. Most players would give up their other wins to get one Worlds.
Yes. Yep.
This is the one that you talk about. This is the one that you put in your signature. This is the one that is the defining aspect of getting into the Hall of Fame, stuff like that. People look at what you did at Worlds. And so who cares, right? I don't want to hear any naysaying this week about anything.
Put them away. Put it away.
We're going to play 2 really tough courses, 2 pro level courses that test players on most, if not all aspects of their game when everybody cares the most, in what's going to be pretty damn good weather.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what happens. You get the extra round to let the cream really rise to the top.
It makes a huge difference too. Yeah.
No discussion about, what if my partner shot a better shot on our alt shot round? No. Okay.
We're done with the Jester
time
event.
For the big stuff. We're going to talk about the Jester event. But today is the first of 2 preview shows for the World Championships. All right. So we're going to have the show today. We'll be back on Tuesday with our second preview show to get you ready. And then we'll be doing daily rapid reacts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then, of course, we'll recap after that. So very fun, very exciting. Can't wait to talk about it. And we've got a lot of stuff to get to today about Worlds and more to come in about a week's time before the start of the actual tournament. So before we get to that, though, we got to talk about this doubles event. Preserve doubles. First time we've seen a codified Pro Tour DGPT doubles event. And Josh, I think it was a smashing success. We did a reacts on this on Sunday night.
Yep.
And I want to break down our top 5 stories from Preserve doubles. And so I will let you have the floor. What's your number 5 story from Preserve doubles?
Number 5 story honestly could make a case for being a little bit higher given kind of the expectations going in. But it ultimately doesn't become the thing that I think people will talk about in a couple of weeks even. But number 5 for me, Gannon and Calvin fumble, Team Heimberg, fumble this tournament. They were clearly the best by rating. They are the top 2 rated players in the world. I, as I think a lot of people, really expected them to perform great. They did the thing that we expected them to do during best shot doubles, and alternate is really where I thought they had the biggest advantage. And they end up taking in the middle of the course a triple bogey and a double bogey, and sayonara. Like that was the round. They just could not give away that many strokes like that, and ended up being kind of a mid finish. They tie fourth, 5 strokes back of the eventual winners of Ricky and Adam, and it ends up being a pretty disappointing tournament for what really is kind of like felt like a super team going in.
I mean, it felt like we were all writing the script for them to just dominate, and then for us to be complaining after the fact about how they were allowed to do this.
Yep.
And instead, they fumbled the bag after having the lead through 2 rounds of best shot. Listen,
Charlie, important question. Does this get added to Gannon's fumbled lead stat now?
No. But because, and, you know, I got into this during the reacts.
Yeah,
I do not want to see this given to players as like an Elite Series win in their like stats
Right.
in the
Please
rankings. Like, you know, Adam Hammes is give me his singles champions when you say
Yes.
he's a 5-time Elite Series winner or whatever he is now.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different thing. I think it's fun and we'll get to that, but I don't want it to be muddying the single stats.
Yes.
Listen, who really cares, right? Gannon and Calvin, they have kind of an off day. Doesn't matter that much.
Nope.
No, except that Gannon has looked a little bit off for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a little bit. It's just a little bit. But when you are the number 1 rated player in the world, there is going to be a higher level of expectation and scrutiny about your level of play. And the truth is, excluding the doubles, where he was having some problems on the putting green, off the tee, looking a little bit just inconsistent in a way that we've not been accustomed to. Of his last 19 singles rounds, 12 of them have been below his rating of 1062. Okay? So
Okay.
I think there's a little bit of math behind the fact that he's looked a little off. Now, the fact is he still ends up finishing second, third, whatever. Like he's at the top because he's just that good, because his off rounds are 1040.
Yeah.
But
right.
I do think because Worlds is in a week, you have to feel at least a little bit concerned that his game is not where he wants it to be going into Michigan.
Yeah. I think the eye test is actually the more compelling part. I want to caveat that stat just a smidge. Some of those tournaments that are included in that calculation, for example, Jomez Pro Series Champions Landing, Gannon won, but not a great field, so ratings a little bit depressed. Europe tournaments, you've got like Ale, for example, a little bit, I think, down for across the field. So there are some courses that I think that he has played as of late that contribute to that. But let me give you kind of the flip side argument of that, right? If you look just recently, first round Ledgestone shoots a 1093, and then at Discmania Challenge, 2 of his 3 rounds were over his rating. His last round was his bad round. So, or first round was his bad round. Round 2 and round 3 both are above his rating. So I think there is something to it. I think Gannon is not as much of a favorite as I expected him to be going into this week, but he still is the clear favorite. And I think that you would like bet against him at your own peril when you're making your picks.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just, it adds a little bit of uncertainty into what felt like an inevitability a month ago after European Open. And maybe he's still going to show up and smash. He's still going to be the money favorite, no doubt. Number 4, Ricky Wysocki and Adam Hammes had 2, good enough rounds in best shot doubles, but nothing to write home about. They weren't fantastic, but holy smokes, they were unbelievable down the stretch of the back 9, canning monster putts, hyping each other up, coming up with just crazy shot after crazy shot. The shot over the trees from Adam to put it on the green, insane shot making from those guys down the stretch. And even they played so well that Ricky missed a bunny and it didn't matter.
Yes. Yeah. Missed on 18 and did not play even the slightest role.
By the way, make that into a meme of Ricky just like staring off into space while the camera like slowly zooms in on him.
We we were getting ready to react when the lead card was on hole like 15.
Yep.
Because you were international, so time zones issues.
I'm
right?
currently in Ireland right now.
Currently in Ireland. So we were like worried about how late it was going to go. And so we're like, oh, as soon as it's mathematically impossible, we'll just go. And we were talking about that a hole 15. That's how good Ricky and Adam played. You know, I think the Gannon point that you're making, Charlie, there's two players. We'll talk about one in a minute. But the two players who I think you should read into a little bit on this performance, Gannon is one of them. I'm hesitant to say you should do that for Ricky and Adam. They both played great, but it's not one. I think largely this event is difficult to read into, but you have to at least concede that they're going to be feeling great coming into Worlds, coming off of this kind of win and that performance.
Yeah, and I have to say, there's at least a little bit about this, and we talked about this in the reacts. Ricky and Adam are friends, and they were vibing, and they were like building each other up in that Upshot final round. And Gannon and Calvin felt like they were just there so they wouldn't get fined. I mean, obviously, they made a team of two tremendously good players. They were there to try to win the tournament, but it never really felt like they were together, right? I don't really know the relationship between the two of them, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're close friends on tour. And it just felt that way. Like they just kind of felt like they were both there playing, but it wasn't like a team. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how much that impacted them and their performance on the final day. I think you can get away with that in best shot because it's just like, okay, execute. Okay, the guy's close. I throw my shot.
You give Gannon and Calvin two shots at anything. And
it's not shocking that they were the best through two rounds, but it kind of fell apart. And they, at one point on the broadcast, I think Nate and Philo both were like, these guys can't wait to just get off the course and get on to Michigan. And I kind of agree. I mean, they were out of it. They weren't having any fun. Mm-hmm. They were just there playing. Yeah. And then chemistry matters. I think we'll see that next year.
Yeah.
There were lots of teams, obviously, that were made because it was homies. And
most of the teams, I think.
Right. Yeah. But those teams that didn't do that, I think will rethink the approach next year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Charlie. Well, let me tell you about the other player who I think's performance we can read into just a smidge.
Okay.
Storyline number 3. FPO putting woes kind of defined that final round. And so let's hit a quick recap for people who aren't familiar. Hole 17. Katrina and Silva are in the lead right now. They're looking good. They've got a couple strokes. They go into hole 17. Silva puts it inside the bullseye. Pretty severe wind. Like I'm gonna give Katrina. I think it was just outside the bullseye. Pretty ripping wind, and this crosswind. Katrina hits really strong right side, a lot of chains, but it just doesn't react well. Falls off, hits cage, falls out. Okay, you know what? It's a crappy miss, but it's not it's a miss that I've got some sympathy for. Get to hole 18, Silva and Katrina lay up. They have to make a putt after Owen's putt gets just wrecked by the wind, and so she ends up missing to force the playoff for sure. So Silva, Katrina make putt, win. Katrina just outside bullseye, basically the exact same putt, completely terrified, throws it into the cage. Pushes this playoff, and you're like, okay, we'll see who has to putt. Turns out Silva gets to putt on hole 1, so that okay, yep, they got the birdie there. Owen has a similar putt to what Katrina has missed twice, puts it into the band and misses a bullseye putt to force the next hole on the playoff. Owen, Taylor lose. That round got very dramatic very fast because of the putting problems. But Owen is the only other player that I think you should really read into her performance and what that means for Worlds. Because this is a couple events now that we're in trouble.
She's got that thing happening that happens to everyone at one time or another, where you just lose confidence a little bit in mid-range C1.
Yep.
And it only seems to come out for Own either like when her overall putting is kind of off or when the pressure's really high, because we've seen this already this season when she was down the stretch in crunch time, needed to make putts and missed some close C1 putts. Like, you know, not tap in. She's not doing henna Blumrose stuff, but like she's missing 15 to 20 footers that you never expect her to miss.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing it starting to show up in the stats a little bit. Last year, she was about 85% C1X. She's down to 82% this year. And I think, you know, she's still top 3. But compare that to her C2 putting. She's at 27%. She's 5% higher than anyone else. Like, she's blowing everybody away from C2. There's a different level of pressure, I think, on C2. It's more about like, I'm just going for it and I'm not afraid to go for it. And that's never been a problem for her. But she clearly has some issues in C1 right now under pressure. And I do think it's possible that could show up at Worlds.
Agreed.
And let's be honest. You know, you look at these courses from without having any context of the last couple of years, and you think Own's not going to succeed out here. Like, these are long, difficult, hilly courses.
We made that mistake.
A lot of distance. There's no way that oh no, wait, she's won this tournament. She's won D-Glow. She's played amazing here. And so I think she's going to be in the conversation. I'm not going to doubt the dog, but I am a little concerned about the putting.
Here's the other thing that's important to note. Given Own's distance limitations, that 3% decrease matters. Own has to have her putting game at the top, because if it's not, she doesn't have the rest of the game around it to compensate. She plays on a razor thin margin of good enough at everything else, but her putting's able to carry her. That putting drops. I don't know if she has the compensation elsewhere in the game to continue to win tournaments.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting. But you got to say, like, she's having a really good year despite some of these issues, but certainly a stunner to see her miss that one in the playoff. And congratulations to Katrina and Silva, who, despite not maybe being the absolute top storyline, like, didn't look like they were going to win until all of a sudden they did.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Katrina's playing well and Silva's the world number 1. And I think it was just, they did just enough.
Yep.
They tried to blow it, but so did everybody else. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. My number 2 storyline. I know the Preserve maybe doesn't want to do this every year, but they should. I feel like everything went well. Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was entertaining. We were talking about this in the reacts. If we had just gone into another Preserve singles format, old layout, it would have been a freaking slog. And it's nothing. It's just, you can't have like back-to-back Midwest events. It's just, I don't know. For me, it just feels a little flat. And this course is sprinty, or used to be sprinty, and still is because of doubles. You know, best shot is obviously very sprinty. But this just feels like it revitalized this tournament. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of fans there. And it just feels like this could be the thing. And if I'm the Preserve, I want to say, we do doubles. That's what we do. And I feel like people are excited about that. And this, for the most part, seemed to go over extremely well. I mean, people are nitpicking about, oh, we should do all best shot, or we should do all alt shot, or they have format considerations. Fine, you know, we can have the debate.
Sure.
But nobody seems to be saying we shouldn't do doubles.
Mm-hmm. I think this course also sets up nicely because it's really, you mentioned that there were a lot of spectators. It's easy. It's an easy course to spectate, right? It has a nice blend with this new layout of introducing technicality to make it challenging. The use of the hazard I thought was fantastic, but it's also super easy to see. And that would be a big mistake to put it on a course that loses either the visual sightline or the technicality this one had. I think the Preserve set up really well. It also matches the Preserve vibe, which is why players like coming here. They love the camping, the like stuff around the tournament at the Preserve. But as a watcher of disc golf, I don't get to appreciate that. I just see a course that's like a sprinty course that really doesn't, like, I don't know. It does the technicality of the preserve old layout does not come through on camera hardly at all. And so it just feels very straightforward. Looks like it'd be a blast to play, but I've been getting a little bit bored of the preserve over the past couple of years. I would absolutely watch this event at the preserve every single year, and I think they should absolutely just try and keep that and keep renewing it as long as they'll let them.
I think their course updates were all for the better. I mean, and if they do go to singles, I think the course will be much more interesting. I think, making the sand traps hazard instead of free landing areas, like, just makes logical sense.
Yeah.
So I think many of those changes were welcome. But again, the success of the doubles overall, which is, not to spoil the story, the number one story on our list, would suggest to me that if I'm the preserve, I say, hey, we want this to be our thing.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, let's get to that last one then. Number one storyline is that this event rocks, and the DGPT should take their victory lap, because this is a huge W.
Especially in comparison to some other things like match play, which have not been that good.
Yeah.
Like, were you hyped for match play championship last year, or watching any of the match play during the season?
I watched I remember the Ricky Paul one, right? The Ricky Paul match play was sick. But like that's all I remember about it. Couldn't even tell you who won off the top of my head.
Right.
Right. But this was great. Yeah. This was fun.
This is the right dose of something light.
Perfect spot in the schedule. It was, and here's what I'm going to say. I know, Charlie, we had a little bit of disagreement about this on the reacts. I think the fact that, like, there's a lot of money involved. We'll get to purse watch in a minute. I think the fact that there were a lot of points involved, that's important. That gets players out. It incentivizes them and makes sure that they come. This event would not have been as fun if the top players did not play. And so the DGPT needs to do whatever they need to do to make sure that players are playing this event.
And I'll say this. Best shot, and I've seen the conversations online. I mean, some people are saying, oh, best shot is no scoring separation. It's boring. Alt shot's the thing that made this tournament. I think you need both.
I think you need both.
Because what I will tell you about best shot, it's entertaining. People are going for everything. Mm-hmm. They're running it. Mm-hmm. They're throwing putts from 85 feet. We're not getting the typical conservative play that makes a lot more sense when you're playing stroke play singles.
Yeah.
So I just think that is great fun to watch. And we have to remember that this is not just about being a maximally fair competitive product. This is entertainment, and this was entertaining. Mm-hmm. And so I will watch this every time. I don't want to have this every week, but I'm very glad to have it once a season. And I think it was a lot of fun. It'll be cool to see if teams stay together or if there's drama around that. I do think it would be a great opportunity for the Pro Tour to slap mic packs on players and start to get more mic'd up segments and hear players discussing things like, how we're going to attack this next shot, given that, we're out of position or we're right in the middle of the fairway. Who's putting first, right? It was interesting that Gannon was putting first every time in round two.
Yeah.
Even though Calvin could obviously have made many of those putts. So, why did they do that?
Mm-hmm. You also, you caught Ricky, I think it was on hole 14 or 13, where he checked scores. Maybe it was later than that. Check scores, and you hear him say to Adam, he goes, I think we should run this. Let's do it. And then he goes for it, makes this massive circle two putt. That adds pressure to that putt because you can see that they're thinking about the situation. They're thinking about what holes they're going to get. So, yeah, I completely agree with you. Mic'd up would be great for this event.
Yeah, and I think, we got some of that, but I would like to get more of that. And this is the perfect event to do it because I think players would be a lot more amenable to doing mid-round interviews, having a mic pack wired up on them. It would be like a chance to do some trial stuff for the Pro Tour and the Disc Golf Network, where it's if it goes bad, it's not that big of a deal. It's not a major. and you get a chance to do kind of, it's not like all-star event where it's like goofy nonsense. Like the players still cared and were trying.
Yes.
But it obviously doesn't have the same stakes as Worlds next week or even in a regular Elite Series event.
No, I don't think so either. So
interesting stuff. Let us know your thoughts. Email us anytime, upshot@ultiworld.com. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to start getting you ready for the World Championships coming up in Detroit. Stay with us. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Got the brand new Taylor Chosek colorway and the signature Rufus out now. It's got the red uppers, the peacock lowers, the saffron colored zippers, bright colored bag. Really looks awesome. Classic Pound styling. And you can support Taylor Chosek by getting your bag today. So head over to pounddiscgolf.com, check out the brand new Taylor Chosek colorway, or if you want to support another pro, check out all the options from their signature athletes. Welcome back to the Upshot. Before we start talking about the World Championships, it's time for a 30-second rule, where we've got 30 seconds to hit each topic. And if we go over, we can use a time extension. Maybe we'll get a warning. Josh, take it away.
Yeah, so first up, we got a couple of news announcements that we're catching up on. The first one came out back on August 11th. This was when the Disc Golf Pro Tour announced a multi-year partnership with Ledgestone Disc Golf, Ledgestone being the company, through 2029. This is essentially a partnership that is going to guarantee spots for the Supreme Flight Open, Ledgestone Open, and D-Glow on the Disc Golf Pro Tour for the years of 2027, 2028, 2029. This includes then the opening of the next season, Supreme Flight Open. We'll talk about the schedule in just a minute. And then both Ledgestone and D-Glow in August, where they typically go. I think I'll give you let you your input there in a second, Charlie. I just think that this is noteworthy that this comes out immediately after Heinold's finished on the board, and maybe it would have come out anyway. But it's like there's the pivot, right? It's like, okay, Heinold's done on the board. Yep. Multi-year contract with all of your tournaments in your company to run 3 events plus majors that we already know he has.
100%. And I mean, to me, this is like, was there a world in which we weren't going to have these tournaments on tour for the next 3 years? To me, this is more about optics.
Yes.
And a signaling of confidence.
Yep.
In both these events and the Pro Tour itself, as opposed to being some sort of newsworthy thing. Oh, wow, they're going to have Ledgestone on tour for the next 3 years. Didn't see that coming. Mm-hmm. But I think you're completely right. I think it's quite obvious that Nate has gotten to the point where this is a real business to operate now.
Yep. And
it needs to be the singular focus rather than something that he does along with other things. And
I have 2 other...
it was already overdue for him to step away from the board, mostly because of the optics of that situation where it's
right.
Hey, you're too in deep with the Pro Tour, with Discraft, with your own brand and your own tournament operations to be essentially the leader of the PDGA. Even if you recuse yourself every time that, you cannot not be influencing the organization with those tie-ups.
Yep.
And so it was overdue. I think mostly it's going to be a good legacy for Nate Heinold on the PDGA board, but I agree with you 100% that this is the clear signal. I'm going to be doing this now. Yep. And this is this is my job. This is I am a professional disc golf organizer and I'm investing in the Pro Tour. Cause I also wonder is there this also sort of secures the Pro Tour's status,
It does.
The Pro Tour is still just a they're like the UFC, right? They're like the event overall promotion.
Yeah.
But they're not. It's not like there couldn't be a different set of tournaments that were disc golf tournaments that had live streaming, right?
You're right.
And the Pro Tour is making sure that they don't get wedged out by anybody else. Not that there is anybody else, but
yeah,
it's not impossible that something will come up in the future.
Right. There was an attempt, and the Disc Golf Pro Tour handled that competitor.
Meanwhile, Live Golf is in complete disarray.
Shambles.
Tatters.
The other thing that I think that this signals, Charlie, I think this is about to become a lot more common. Because you're right that this doesn't matter as much for Ledgestone. But you know who is going to start calling? It's going to be guys like Discmania Challenge and saying, what do you need from us if we want to try and secure a multi-year contract? What do you need from, events that are more in question about where they get to go on the schedule and do they get a place in the schedule? And we talked to Ty Tanat about how they've always been willing to play kind of the flex role and play wherever it's needed to on the schedule. And that's been a big boost and a reason why they've been able to secure their spot. But tournaments like Waco, for example, not on the Pro Tour this year. Those are the tournaments that are going to be like the Pro Tour is going to say, all right, let's talk about what these contracts look like in order to secure your spot. And the residual effect of that is this becomes a very, very, very powerful marketing tool to gaining non-endemic sponsors. Because it's true. Did we expect Ledgestone in the next 3 years? Yes, we absolutely did. Nate now gets to go to his sponsors and say, here's my contract. I am guaranteed 3 years. You pay what you're buying right now is advertising for 3 years.
Yep.
Full stop, right? Guaranteed. Yep. Here's the paperwork. And that's a big deal when it comes to getting sponsorships. I think this is a signal of what's to come for more and more tournaments. And it started with Estonia Worlds in 2029.
Yeah, good point. Very true. What's next?
This is a little bit of extension from the Supreme Flight Open part. Disc Golf Pro Tour has unveiled, the first part of the season next year. Did they always done this? In like chunks like this? Well,
I thought we were going to get the full schedule this week, but
I thought so too.
Maybe a couple things, a couple I's weren't dotted, a couple T's weren't crossed. So we're getting the partial. They think they normally just drop the schedule.
I think
right after Worlds, we're going to get the 2027 schedule, full schedule. Well,
they've announced the first 3 events. Also a weird number, like not first half, just first 3. First 3 events, Supreme Flight Open, going to be starting the tournament there again, or the season there again. And the season is getting pushed back, Charlie. We are starting in March, mid-March now. Previously, we've had like late February. LVC used to be as like early as like mid-February sometimes. We're pushing it back to late or mid-March. March 12th to the 14th will be the Supreme Flight Open. Immediately turning around the next weekend to the Big Easy Open. And then Queen City Classic has a week in between Big Easy and will be our 3rd event to start April 2nd through April 4th.
So here's what's interesting. Starting notably later, but bunching the early tournaments closer together, including having Champions Cup right on the heels of Queen City, right? I think the Champions Cup is the weekend after Queen City. So what does this mean? It's going to mean that it's a lot more logical for a lot more players, including particularly the Europeans, to come over and play the full starting swing rather than waiting until, like this year, a lot of players started at Queen City and then played Champions Cup. So as grueling as it's going to be not to be able to watch disc golf until mid-March, it is going to, they say they're also going to be shifting the season deeper into the end of the year. So I don't exactly know what that means, but maybe we're going to get a week off between USDGC and the Pro Tour Championship. Maybe they're going to add a tournament in there between those events. I don't know. But overall, I think I like it. I think the weather is like a little bit more sketchy, even in like nice parts of the United States in February. And once you get into March, things are like, we're into spring at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Other thing that I think is noteworthy, you talk about for purposes of like bringing people over. I also felt like the beginning of the season has always kind of like plodded along And to the point that it became like hard to really get excited until Champions Cup. It's like, oh, disc golf is back, but then it's like disc golf off, disc golf off. And I appreciate as a spectator, like, yeah, let's boom, boom, break, boom, boom.
At the beginning
like,
of the year in particular, we're ready to watch some disc golf.
Yeah. Take advantage of that momentum. And I think that's smart. So I appreciate the grouping a little bit better too.
As someone who is a vocal advocate for having space in the schedule, I agree with that point. I think at the beginning of the year, it's a lot more reasonable to have not a lot of off weeks.
I completely agree.
And then, you get to Champions Cup and then you can take a break.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the year is when you need a little bit more space. But I think for the most part, they've gotten the middle of the year pretty correct.
Yep.
And, we have this doubles and then we get the break.
Yep.
And that we needed that. And not only is there a break, but there's a break after a tournament that doesn't feel like it has a ton of stakes. And that's also, I think, important. It was a jester event.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Should we clarify for people what we mean by that? Do like people know? Like
some people will know. The hardcore will know. Anthony Barella did a course preview of Black Locust, the second Worlds course. And he said, everybody's over there playing this jester event, and I'm here grinding, and I want it more than everybody else. Obviously, tongue in cheek. Obviously, his partner, he was going to play in the event, and Macbeth pulled out to get ready for Worlds. Yeah. All good. All in good fun. But I like that he called it a jester event.
So funny. I just don't want people to come out and be like, oh, man, Josh and Charlie hated doubles. Yeah. Okay, last thing in 30-second rule, Charlie. We've got a little bit of a purse watch catch-up we need to do. We were on vacation. I was on vacation, and you were unavailable.
Oh, yeah, Discmania.
Discmania. So we need to do Discmania, and we need to do Preserve Doubles. So starting off, I'll hit Discmania. $68,135, the MPO payout. FPO payout was $33,865 for a total of $102,000. 102,000. Yeah, that's how you say it. Just like, that is stroke. Field size of 166 means that our per person dollar amount was $614, with our winners taking $12,500 and $7,506. Don't ask me. I don't know, but there's a 6 at the end. And purse is up slightly. About $1,000, a little over $1,000, 1.8% from last year. But the per person is down about 5%. So I think it's a little bit of a bigger event than they had in previous years.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to be like, we're raising the purse, even though like you kind of have the ability to do that at no especially additional added cash cost.
Yep.
But hey, you'll take it. Still a good paying event. There have been some weird discussions about this tournament after the fact.
I saw
caddy,
this.
Schleback was like, what's going on? Like, why are we hearing about Discmania Challenge not being on the tour next year? I don't quite know like the status of all that, but there are some rumors that it won't be on tour next year. Whether those are true or not remain to be seen. But I do think it's weird that somebody who's fairly connected in the Iowa scene is raising a stink about it maybe not being on tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no other information, but
this event has to find an identity.
Its identity is lots of money and flex. Like it'll go wherever you need it to.
That's true. I mean, and that's there is some value to that, I suppose, being willing to kind of be like, we'll slot in the calendar where you need us.
The problem is if they reach a schedule where, I
like Pickard Park. I like everything, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take you through the Preserve Doubles purse watch. $60,920 for MPO, $25,120 for FPO for a total of $86,000. It's about $560 a player. It's fine. It's below Pro Tour normal standards, but above Europe. 9,000 to the MPO winners, 5,000 to the FPO winners. It's actually up though, year over year in payout compared to Preserve 2025. So about 5% up and 7.6% up on per person. So that's fine. I mean, I think it's certainly enough of a payout to be enticing.
Yes.
And it doesn't need to be elite.
Yep. it feels like a sweet spot. I mean, listen, if you could get a sponsor to come out and drop, just loads of cash, then I wouldn't complain, but I also don't think it's necessary for this event.
One last thing, and this is a nice segue into a discussion of Worlds.
Okay.
The Worlds payout is going to be $300,000. That's announced. I guess they could theoretically bump it up slightly from there if they wanted to, but that will certainly be the minimum. It's going to be the biggest payout in history, disc golf history. So $285,000 in 2024. It dropped down pretty notably last year over in Europe, and it's bouncing back up to all-time highs, $300K. Very impressive. I guess, has the Pro Tour gone over $300K at some point?
Pro Tour Championship?
The Pro Tour Championship. I think this is straight up the biggest ever.
Is it? I thought Pro Tour Championship broke the 300,000 mark.
Maybe they went to like 315 or something. I'll double check. But anyway, it is definitely the biggest payout for Worlds.
Yes.
That's cool to see. It's going to be some massive paydays. They did $300K in 2024 Pro Tour Championship, and I think so. This matches the all-time high, and maybe they'll add $1 to be the number one.
Here's the problem, though, Charlie. Not a problem per se. 2026 Powerball Cup has already been announced to award a purse of $350,000. So even if Worlds takes the title with $300,001, Powerball Cup is going to take that right back in about a month and a half. So,
oh wait, hang on a second. $302,000 at the 2022 Tour Championship.
Oh, okay. So they got to bump it up.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. $300K. It's a lot of money. I think it's great to see Worlds continue to push it up. And, to get that number now and not in the height of COVID bump and mania is cool to see.
It's Nate was talking about talking about the process, talking about there's a lot going into this, and the money's coming from it as well. You can see it.
All right, Josh,
should we talk Worlds?
Yes, we're on the same page. Let's dive in. Let's start with some straight up basics. All right. Okay. We got to talk about the just general structure of this tournament. So, okay, it starts next Wednesday, August 26th, and runs through Sunday. 5 rounds, as it has been now for a while. And we're playing on 2 courses, as is the new standard. The new Black Locust course will be making its tour debut, and we'll talk a bunch about that course in a minute. They'll start the A pool, which is the top players, the relevant players, will all play Locust on Wednesday. Then they will play Toboggan on Thursday, which has been the site of D-Glow for many years now. Then they will, the 18 under Macbeth, by the way, we're going to see some highlights of that at some point.
Oh, just a few.
Then they go back to Locust on Friday, and then they play the weekend at Toboggan. So it's 3 rounds at Toboggan and 2 rounds at Locust, alternating those first 4 days with the extra Toboggan round on Sunday.
Spectator reasons, makes sense why Toboggan's your weekend course. That's pretty normal these days for Worlds, that your open course gets the back-to-back weekend treatment for spectator purposes. Charlie, quick question, interjection. What are you going to see more highlights of this week? Are you going to see more James Conrad holy shot or Paul Macbeth 18 down round?
I think you really only see the Paul Macbeth one like once, and the holy shot maybe we see twice. I mean, the thing is, like, if James Conrad was still like a top level, gonna maybe win the championship player, I think we would be more likely to see it more. Yeah. But I think they'll be sparing. I think there's a chance we don't see the holy shot.
Come on right now. You're not being serious. That's Charlie. That's one of the worst takes I've ever heard come across the show.
But, like,
not one holy shot.
But like, what's the context for showing it?
Who cares? They're gonna run it. It's Worlds. The context is Worlds. It's the big one.
I understand that. I understand that. But like,
you-
I
like,
mean,
how-
they're probably going to have some montage of like great
They
moments
are.
from. You know
Yes.
what? In fact, I have to take it back because they're going to have a tease
Yes.
that includes like iconic moments, and obviously, Holy Shot will be in the montage.
Yes. Not once.
I guess my point is they
goodness.
might not go to an isolated like let's watch the Holy Shot during the middle of the broadcast.
I still think you're wrong.
Okay, well, keep me honest. I say
All right.
I say
all right.
under 0.5. I'm going to say that they do not show it out of context, like as
Excluding
its own clip.
a beginning
If
montage.
it's in a montage of hype,
Okay.
that doesn't count.
Okay. All right. I still think you're
Okay.
wrong, but you're welcome to make that take. Now that we've got the schedule, weather, Charlie, pristine. We've got Wednesday, a little bit of chance of rain, 50% chance of rain, but otherwise, Thursday through Sunday, partly cloudy, under 10 miles an hour wind, 60 degrees low, 80 degrees high. Can't ask for much better disc golf weather.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Please let that stay true. It's obviously pretty early to be looking into a 10-day forecast. But that would be amazing if that's what ends up being. We don't need a windy slop fest out there.
Or thunderstorm delays, knock on wood.
All right, of course.
Yeah.
So we all know Toboggan. It's 11,125 feet for MPO. It's a beast, and it's hilly, and it's grueling. It's physical. It's 9,500 feet for FPO, par 66 for the MPO, par 70 for the FPO. A lot of big uphill, downhill shots. You got to be able to control your angles, and you got to have some power.
Yeah. There are
there's a lot
holes
of-
that. Go ahead. I think you're
You go.
something. Okay. Holes where you can either play a like two 450 foot shots, or you can throw a 550, 600 foot shot and then have a much more manageable approach. Power is not necessarily required, but boy, does it make your life so much easier on those second shots, which are in a lot of cases uphill on some of those harder ones.
This is a course that tends to reward good C2 putting, especially in MPO, because there's a lot of holes where it's just hard to get into C1, but getting into C2 is possible.
Yeah.
So look to players who can knock down putts from C2. Who could that be? And you are more likely to see them kind of stand out compared to a course that maybe is a little bit more of a, birdie or die type of course. Black Locust is the new course.
Yep.
10,860 MPO par 65. So almost as long as Toboggan and one shot shorter to par. 8,800 for FPO par 66. Those pars being closer together, I think, is a little bit representative of the fact that it's a little bit more of a woodsy course as opposed to the big hilliness that we get at Toboggan. We haven't seen a ton of content coming out about Black Locust yet, but Anthony Barella just did a course preview and broke down his thoughts on the course. And so I think the thing to know is that this is not necessarily like a pure woods course that we often get at Worlds alongside kind of the open style Toboggan. It's more of a hybrid course. It has a lot of technical woods shots, but then it becomes a little more open and has more distance and OB later in the back nine. So it's kind of more of a balanced course than is maybe typical of like a Brewster or something like that. And the fact is, this is classic Nate Heinold new course debut. I think it's going to score easier than like a Northwood Black, Josh.
That's what it seems to be.
But it's still going to be really demanding. Like you have to hit gaps and throw 450, 500 feet. You have to have lots of different shot shapes, including backhand turnover, flip ups, flex shots, etc. There's a lot of holes where you really need to have a backhand if you're a right-handed player. And like forehands are going to be tricky. So forehand specialists may struggle more if they're right-handed. And there's lots of landing zones. I mean, this is all kind of modern course design things. Like woods are now gaps plus power. It's not just gaps, and it's power to a specific spot And if you overthrow, then you're also in trouble.
Also a problem.
So we're going to see lots of that. I think the course itself is probably going to be more of an all-around course versus like a wood specialist course. So that's going to be a little bit of a wrinkle compared to some other properties that we played at Worlds.
In terms of the flow of the course, AB kind of describes it starting out a little bit slow, saying maybe 1 to 2 under through 5 through 9. He's expecting 4 under, but by the end of the round, Charlie, to your point, he's expecting 8 down to 10 down would probably be pretty competitive. If he feels really on, then double digits. It's noteworthy that we'll talk about this in a minute, mirrors fairly closely Toboggan scoring in a lot of cases as well. Toboggan scoring a little bit higher, but I don't think it's going to be a massive separator where it's like, 4 down and 13 or 14 down, 10 strokes separating your 2 rounds. So we'll kind of make it a little more predictable as the tournament progresses. I think one thing to note, the final stretch here at Black Locust looks quite interesting. So hole 15 is you have an island hole, so you have to hit an island green. A little bit difficult. Love it. But it is one that feels like a birdie that you kind of need to get. Hole 16 is a must get birdie, straight 340-foot par 3. But then you go to hole 17, tight tee, peninsula green, difficult bonus birdie. And then hole 18, where he says he wants more than 500 feet of power off the tee. But you've got OB left. It slopes left to right. OB left and long, and so everything gets much easier with a long drive, but there's some risk-reward decisions that are going to have to be made. Sounds like an excellent finishing stretch to close out that tournament, or close out the Black Locust course.
And this perhaps is also not surprising. AB said, tons of potential, still a little rough around the edges. And I think it's hard for courses to come onto the tour the first time and not have a few of those elements where it's like, they need to take a couple branches out. They need to, clean up
the rough
this gap.
needs to get stomped
there's some
down
lucky
a little bit.
Spots. Yes.
Yeah.
And it does sound like they've cleaned up Toboggan a lot, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So I think the rough will be less rough, and it's been kind of nasty brambles and stuff in the past. But AB also said it could become one of his top 5 courses, which I feel like these players always say that. They're like, this could be my favorite course, but there's all these problems with it. No, I don't think he's being critical of it really. I think it's more just that like these first year debut courses always have these issues. Like look at Big Easy Open this year. Yep. Tons of people talking about the potential, and obviously we're going to have it on tour again next year. They're going to be making a bunch of changes. They're going to be opening up some of the space. I'm sure we're going to see scores come a little hotter next year. And Black Locust probably is going to have that same element. I wouldn't be surprised if they made some changes even in the last week. I mean, we've seen that before with Nate Heinold at Worlds, where they were making changes to the course at like Ivy Hill literally a couple days before the tournament started.
Yeah. And
so we'll see if
players.
Yeah, I mean, they're making logical changes that the pros are like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. And then they make a change.
Yeah. All right, Charlie, should we talk about the history at this event a little bit?
Would love to.
Okay. Remember, everybody.
This event being D-Glow,
right? Only at Toboggan.
We're going to talk more about Worlds histories and all of that stuff on next week's show.
That's next week. Yeah, big picture. We'll come back. So at Toboggan, though, 2025 Gannon, 2024 Gannon, and then you get kind of like an interesting 2023 was Simon, 22 was Calvin, 21 was Eagle, and then 2020 Eagle, 19 and 18 were Paul. So a little bit of variance kind of in that middle chunk, but guys that are generally, during that time at the top or near the top of the field, right? I don't think any of these are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe X won this tournament. This made sense given both their game and kind of where they were in the sport at the time. This tournament seems to reward good, or at least D-Glow has traditionally rewarded players who are at the top of the sport in the MPO side. Especially true when you're talking about Worlds, so I expect that trend likely to continue. FPO side, Paige is the only repeat winner in the past 8 years. So Paige has 2 wins, and that's back in 2019, 2020. Sarah Hokum won in 2018. Since 2020, when Paige got her last win, we've had 5 unique winners. 2021 was Kristen, 2022 Natalie Ryan, 23 Owen, 24 Holland, 25 Missy. FPO at the beginning of the season really felt like this wide open kind of mix. It's going to be really interesting where you have Evelina and Silva who feel like the top players right now, but also have not won. And this one has rewarded a lot of different winners over the past 5 years.
Are you ready for Missy Gannon to show up at this tournament and play amazing? I don't think people are ready.
People aren't ready.
People are hating.
I'm not ready.
People have sold their stock.
Yep.
They're out. Every year, Missy Gannon plays awesome at Worlds. Every year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's going to win, but she will be there. Last 3 years, best players by like average round.
Yep.
Number 5, we'll start FPO. Number 5, Kat Merch. Number 4, Haley King. Is Haley playing?
Let's take a look.
That'd be wild.
Let's
I feel
take
like
a little look.
When did she play last? I don't even think about Haley King playing disc golf anymore.
I don't see her registered.
Oh, man. She's just out the game. Damn.
Yeah.
What could have been? Number 3, Missy. Number 2, Own. Number 1, Holland. So, look at Own last 4 years. Second, first, fourth. Do not doubt the dog. Plus, now we're adding a Woods course.
Yes. Do not doubt the dog.
Now, Own could go back-to-back world championships in her mid-40s.
Oh my gosh. I'm not ready, Charlie. One thing of note, and here's another advantage that we're going to give in Own's favor, is that I don't think our Europeans have played this event all that much. So
in many cases, they have not.
So, for
Silva's
example,
only played it once.
Yes, Silva only having played it once. Evelina hasn't played this event, and so
she's never played.
That's what I'm seeing on our notes.
Wow, you're right.
Yeah.
I just checked Statmando. That's crazy.
So your two players,
Evelina's those are arguably the two favorites.
Yes,
and they barely played this tournament,
and they've got one tournament at this course between the two of them.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Own this week, everybody. She could do it and especially if she can create a little bit of space where there isn't the circle one pressure, then it might these woes might not matter from the past couple of weeks. FPO is wide open.
Fascinating. It's been wide open.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wide open going into Sunday.
It's been wide open, but then it quickly became the Silva Evelina show over the past 2 months.
I know, but like any individual tournament, it feels like anyone could win. And of course, obviously, we've seen Evelina, for instance, play amazing in the final round and be the one to win. But it's not like she's had a dominant lead.
No.
She's often been behind. Silva's done the same thing. She's been behind and come back to win.
Yes.
If you're a Holland fan, this is definitely a spot to look for Holland. She's played really, really well here.
Boy.
And
hard to trust her with Black Locust, though.
Up and down. I know, but like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do for picks. We're picking next week. I'm going to be dwelling on it for literally the next 6 days. I'm going to be thinking about where am I going for picks? Because I don't think it's obvious at all. We have all this young European talent's going to come over. One of them could make a crazy run. I mean, Ida Letamaki was in the playoff last year.
Yeah. Ella was one shot away from being in the playoff last year.
And Ella's playing good right now.
Ella's playing good right now. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is gonna be wild over an FPO, and I'm super excited for it.
All right,
MPO,
here's
Charlie.
your top 5 MPO.
Yeah.
You can give it to me. Give it to us.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. Past 3 years, top 5. Eagle McMahon is in 5th. Simon is in 4th. Calvin 3rd. Ricky 2nd. Gannon Burr is number 1, though. He's won twice, so that makes sense. He's back-to-back winner. Gannon's great at these courses. Gannon's the world number 1. Listen, all you're going to see everywhere are reasons why you should pick Gannon Burr.
The only reason not to pick him is that his recent form has looked a little shaky.
Right. And he
That's the
finished
only
second
reason.
twice as a result.
I don't think I can possibly not put him on my top 3. It just doesn't seem smart. Like, this is a
And
course where he's successful.
6th place in the past 3 years. World's Whisperer Isaac Robinson. The Major himself, Major Robinson. Charlie, we were talking about it a week ago or so. The combined combination, or the combined odds of those two winning, 65, 70%?
Yeah, damn. It doesn't feel like much has changed. I mean, Isaac looked awesome at Preserve.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
So I think you got to be thinking about him. And like, then you've got Sleeper Macbeth, like, who didn't play bad in his first tournament back and then took Preserve off to prep.
I hear you,
this
but
tournament.
man.
I know. I don't think I'm actually going to pick him, but like, let's give the GOAT respect and recognize
fair.
that it's possible that he could cook. It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
But I am fascinated by the fact that Eagle and Simon are top 5 players at D-Glow over the last 3 years. That is such an interesting sub storyline here, that these guys, and obviously Eagle's got the win this year, and Simon's got that whole thing where like all of a sudden, boom, there he is. Is this the week? Not sure I'm going to bet on that.
Okay.
But I find it extremely interesting. I don't think there's going to be that many tournaments where he is top 5.
Here's another problem for you though, Charlie, is like, we haven't brought this up in a while. Simon and Capital Major M is those two things don't go together super well. So, however, I'm going to jump on the Eagle train with you. Eagle just jumped 5 rating points in the last update. He's up 1045. Plays great at D-Glow. He's in the best form we've seen him in a long time. Like, that's a pick. That's a conversation that I am much more interested in having.
Here's the thing. I will go down with the ship if I have to. This is a great spot for Ricky Wysocki to win his 3rd world championship.
6 tournaments, Charlie. After this event, I get to drop it to 5. One hand.
Listen, he's been really good here. He's been super consistent. Mm-hmm. He hasn't missed the top 8 at D-Glow in the last 5 years. He's been the runner-up to Gannon twice. He's been the second best player to par over the last 3 years, and I think over the last 5 years. Actually, no. Let me take that back. He's been the best player over the last 5 years.
By strokes.
And that's obviously Gannon 5 years ago was not quite Gannon yet. I just think he's also looking really sharp. The putter looks fire. I just think it could be the one. Like he's got it in him. He's got it in him.
Oh, just M. I'm doing the Disney Channel thing. Just the
He's
wand.
won majors, Josh. He's won tons of majors, Josh.
You're right. He has, in a different era, in a different time. I want. Oh, can we edit in like the Disney Channel like drawing thing? But I'm drawing an M the entire time you're talking because listen, Charlie, like. Let me go get your speech at European Open. Let me go get your speech at, like, you name the tournament that you have given that exact same speech about Ricky. This is what's weird about him. It's that we could go pull any set of courses, any tournament ever. And it's like, oh, look how good Ricky is. Look how good Ricky is. Ricky's been one of the top players the past 5 years. Ricky's the best player the past 5 years. Ricky's got 3 wins in the past 5 years at this course. And then the major shows up and since 2017, that has been the defining, like the insurmountable problem for Ricky. And
he's come close, Josh.
Oh, I hear you. I hear
close.
you. I know.
Since 2020, he has 7 major podiums, including 4 second place finishes.
I know.
But it must be said, he just seems to have 12 holes every time where he plays awful and loses the tournament. Can he put that behind him?
He needs to offer Adam Hammes just like as much money as it takes to get Adam Hammes to caddy for him so he can get the vibes. Like it's be like, Adam, here's $25K. Get on
He's
my
just
bag.
gonna rename himself Ryan Wysocki, and then boom, it's locked in.
It's a new man. It's a new man.
But man, it's true. And like there's levels to it. There's some people who can't handle the major pressure, and then there's some people who can't handle the world's pressure. It's a different beast. Are you ready to go duel with Gannon for 36 holes at Toboggan on Saturday and Sunday with 5,000 to 10,000 people there? I don't know if I could handle that pressure.
I could get
A lot of players are afraid. And it's hard. You can't blame them.
No, oh, no, not at all. No,
I'm ready for household name to win this tournament, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Go back to Michigan.
Don't sleep. Though I don't love the setup for a
Locus.
forehand specialist.
Yeah.
He can throw a backhand, obviously, but top 5 forehand.
It's going to be interesting. I hope MPO stays competitive, but if Gannon comes out with a really strong round 1 again, like he did in Europe, yeah, that's
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah.
Gannon's talked about it. He's talked about how round 1s at majors would have been held him back, and especially at World Championships. He came out at Worlds. He shot a fantastic round 1, and I was catching my Uber to make sure I made my ferry before the putt dropped on hole 18 because it was just so far gone. Gannon has not looked quite like Gannon, but boy, if you get even a 90% Gannon, that's better than the field.
It's going to be really, really interesting. All right, let's take some notes here. All the main VIP passes are sold out. All the weekend VIP passes are sold out. They still have a couple VIPs left for Friday, and I think more for the early days, unsurprisingly. There's still GA available. So if you want to just show up and, I don't know how great the GA pass is if you're a hardcore fan, but like at this point, if you didn't get yourself a VIP, you kind of out of luck.
Yeah, it's really not bad. You can actually see if you go down to the fan info on the main page, you can see on the venue maps like the different areas that you can go, and the GA has like some reasonable. They've got some stuff that they can see at Toboggan, and so I think definitely still worth it. And go get a VIP pass. Go watch Locust on Friday, and then you can jump over and go hang out and be a part of the action on Saturday.
I think it's overrated to like walk the whole course. I think you would do well as a GA person, bring your kids, find a shady spot, set up some chairs on a hill where you can see cool shots or like a cool green, bring your cooler, get your beers, get your food, and just post up the whole day and watch all the cards come through. That's a great way to take it in.
Watch the big screen that they've got with DGN up. Sure. Like just be at the venue. Like that is going to be energy, fun. Go watch it with people on the screen. So
they're saying this will be the largest ever vendor village. They're going to have 40 vendors. Wow. You can like view the lineup of all the vendors who are going to be there. Obviously all of the disc companies are going to be there. You got all the brands that you know and have heard of. Then there's tons of brands I've never even heard of. So I think it's great. I think I was looking at their food truck offerings. I mean, how many different food trucks are they going to have? I mean, it's crazy. I think it's like 20, maybe not 20, more than 15 food vendors.
Wow.
And they're going to have O'Brien Barbecue offering World's branded refillable soda cups. Buy one and refill it the whole week. So if you're locking in for the whole week, get yourself the refillable soda cup, just like if you're at the baseball game or whatever. And I mean, it just seems like they've this has been a problem in the past for a lot of tournaments, and they're just not messing around. Like, they got everybody out here. So they're going to have acai bowls, chicken and waffles, burgers, dogs, donuts, frozen pops, coffee, blah, blah, blah. You get it. Like, it's not maybe quite going to a Major League Baseball game in terms of the number of options, but it's not far off at this point.
Well, and with the, Ledgestone connection, they've got Worlds branded bags and jerseys and like lots and lots of merch. If you're looking for that, it looks like it's going to be a really, really good time. That's like the big takeaway here. It's like, it looks like it's going to be a blast. Nate puts on a good show and sure looks like it's going to be one this time.
Hell yeah. What else we got, Josh? Is that it?
I think that's it for today. That's our kind of like a little more mechanical episode. We'll get into the fun
stage.
Yeah, we'll get into the fun conversation. Like, who does this matter most for next week? And make sure we get
just like world's histories.
Emails. Yeah.
Who's, when you really dig down into it, not that many people have won worlds over the last 10 years. It's a handful of people.
I know James Conrad.
Somebody new add themselves to the list. Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
no one would ever forget that James Conrad won worlds. What clowns could forget that? That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lots of fun, and lock in. Get yourself a subscription. Go to discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. It's less than $5 a month. You can pay $5 for 1 month. Come in for the Worlds.
Get 5 episodes.
Check out the Discord. Hang out. If you don't like it, cancel. It was $5. It's less than a coffee. I bought a coffee at Starbucks the other day. It's like saying less than a coffee. Like now it's like $10 is less than a coffee. I was like blown away. I got a cold brew. It was like $8.50. I was like,
Charlie,
how is it possibly the price for a coffee now?
I guess that means you can just keep increasing the price because
that's right. It's less than a coffee.
It's less than a coffee. Exactly. And Charlie, here's one other note. If you subscribe on tomorrow, Thursday, the 20th, not only will you get Worlds and all 5 reacts that are going to be involved with Worlds, but it also gets you access to the reacts for Idlewild and the reacts for GMC. So that's a pretty solid value.
And if you lock in for 2 weeks or 2 months,
then you get MVP,
that gets you all the way through USDGC. And I think the Tour Championship.
And the Tour Championship. Yep. So $10. $10. And you get live reacts for the rest of the show.
Come on. It's time.
What are you doing?
Check it out. It's not very much money. So we would love to see you in the Discord. Come introduce yourself. Hang out with everybody. We got tons of people in the chat, including some of the DGN commentators alongside me. And it's a lot of fun to talk disc golf live every single weekend with the crew. That's going to do it for the show. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we'll talk to you next week for our Worlds preview show, setting up the stage for Detroit 2026. We'll see you then.